Well, it looks like they're starting to investigate. It's very interesting that they had started investigating Trump associates, Russian associates, uh, quite a while back in 2016. So I found that part very interesting. So we'll see what's going on. This is something Trump had wanted. He wanted to investigate Brock um, tapping him, and I guess it wasn't Brock, it was Pfizer. And from what I really think that they need to get a new FBI guy, because if the FBI guy knew that, and and they're saying now that these people have been doing this dirt for 30 years, which I mostly could attain to, because and longer than that, because one of the things that people in the sex industry did was go in the housing industry, and they ended up being some of the most racist people, and and those were some of the Russians associated with Trump, or in the sex industry. I believe he has a good friend of his that was a noted pedophile, and and a lot of the things that these people did was considered uh white collar crimes. So I gotta get my thimble. So they really sort of skirted the law for a long time, like with Trump's university. I don't think that was a like a good deal for oh shoot, I undid it. I don't think that's a good deal for I don't know. I just don't like Trump, and it just seems like the more I hear, the more I dislike him. The associates, and plus, I don't think I could do two things. I just decided um, to go ahead and do this. So we'll see. And but I don't know. I just think we got a criminal in the White House, and I hope that they will be able to investigate, because so far it looks like the Republicans are all want to just stick with the Republicans on the deal, which might not. I don't know. I personally, midterm elections, I'm voting. Um, I don't really want to have like I don't like the idea of to get rid of Mills and Wills. There's one lady up here, and she had asked me to go visit her. I'm gonna have to go do that. She's like, she's not a good person. I'm not a good visitor. But um, she gets Meals on Wheels. She had broken her hip, and after they fixed her hip, she was really not able to walk anymore. So and I guess my cousin down the street. She was on Dallas, and she passed away since then. I believe she got Meals on Wheels. So the people I see around here that get Meals on Wheels, um, I think it works, because she was sending her one son to go get her something to eat. Most of he would just come back with Mickey D's up the street or something like that. So she gets a little bit better food in her diet, and so you know, um, and that's one meal they're guaranteed a day. So I think and then it like she still moves around and everything. So, but we got meals that comes through here, and we have the aftercare for the kids, and most of it, I guess, if like if their parents are not working in the factory, working from 7 to like 3 or whatever. Get out when the kids get out, but they get out like sort of early here. They get out like 2:50. The way the school work is not really geared really for like if you look at the students as customers and their parents as customers, it's not geared towards customers. It's it's geared towards responding to cuts and you know like who can do the best bidding and cheapest on their food. You know, because like they don't cook food in school anymore. It's all processed, prepackaged, microwavable, stuff like that. So there's not, or so the kids are not the kids. If like in the morning, like when I used to teach, they would get cold cereal, milk and cold cereal, and stuff like that. And I remember one time Snucker had this thing with peanut butter. That thing was so loaded with, it was good too, but it was like good like the first bite, but like the second, third one, I'm ODing on sugar. So, but and then so like a lot of the kids they showed up for the breakfast. I think all of them. I was in Mississippi, showed up for their breakfast, and I think that does really work because again, like these are working parents, and I uh, kids, they're growing kids. They like to eat. They need that energy, and they need that food so they can do schoolwork. They won't do anything but be frisky if they're hungry. Or they get mad and grumpy. They don't want that. And the kids are so abused already with the way the parents say they have to discipline them. They don't. It's not nurturing. It's discipline by hitting, and they got a bad drug problem. Um, they lose the kids somewhere with really the same thing I see that the Republicans are showing now with their inhumane ways of thinking about their own children, and it's like this one guy. I was talking to him, and he was wondering what the problem is with his grandkids, and uh, you know, the problem is really is he's a pervert, and he doesn't understand, and so anyways, for example, he was using that he had a sister who passed away now. He said they used to just put her in the bath at 5, and she said she would just sit on the side of it, not in the tub, and just splash her water out. Which I'm like that. Well, whatever. That's a nasty lie, but I didn't say that. But I was just like she's nasty. But at a certain age, um, you just leave the door open. Like I didn't think 5. I was thinking mostly like it's 7. You know. Um, and he goes, well, what about their neck? What about their neck? And I'm like, well, yeah. I remember getting checked for my neck. He goes, yeah, I bet you get your ass whooped. And I'm like, no, I didn't get a whooping. I'm like, if there's something wrong, they would check the back of your neck. If the child couldn't wash it or you couldn't get that neck clean, they take you to the doctor because it was a sign of onset of childhood diabetes. Um, so and I think what they had that ring around the collar sort of, people sort of, that commercial of way back in the day. But if, your child has a neck that doesn't seem to get clean, it was diabetes. And then they had another thing, which I can't remember now why, where they licked your forehead. And I can't remember, like, if your forehead was salty, they take you to the doctor. And it meant something, something that was bad but could be curable, just like diabetes can. And if you had your neck, if they show that you had the onset of diabetes, it would change your diet to where not only were you cutting out a lot of the sugars, but you're also cutting out extra protein because that's part of the problem is that it's getting to it's it'll break the sugar down before the protein, so you have more fish, rice, veggies and and like when I was a kid, that was a normal diet. You didn't have so much of the cold cereal that had a lot of sugar and the milk that had a lot of sugar. course, we did drink milk some, but you know, so like you might have other things for breakfast, more grainy, oatmeal, grits, cream of wheat, which is one of my favorites, and stuff like that, and like an egg, it takes like just a few minutes to whip up an egg, um, like you go scramble an egg in about 3 or 4 minutes, and so and but anyway, so the diet has changed to where, and we do have more meat. I know myself, like I don't know how to have a meal without, because I don't eat cold cereal, so I don't know how to have a meal without meat. But anyway, guess I got off the subject. But he really can associate, or understand, um, how his selfish wants and desires and needs, uh, uh, don't have to cause pain or harm, or loss to somebody else. And I see the Republicans that way, and I see Trump that way. Him and his highfalutin billionaire friends. You know, they're all about making the dollar, and making the deal. Which business, running a business and running a government is two different things, because in government you have to take into consideration of the wants and the needs of the citizens so it can function. In a business, you have to take in consideration your wants and needs, which your bottom line is, making a buck, and it's different. Um, and it really is different, because um, it looks like, you know definitely, very obviously, with Flynn, that he had a lot of association with Russians. You can tell Steve Banner had a lot of association with Russians. Pence had a lot of association with Russia. I could go down the list, uh, and I don't even think we should vote right now for a Supreme Court. And I'm not saying it because the Republicans think, oh well, you want to do it because we was nasty when we were doing this shit just to be hateful and to cause Obama presidency to look stupid, you know. But we need to not vote in the Supreme Court, because so far it looks like that Pfizer is wiretapping the president's associates, and if its associates happen to be in Mar-a-Lago, or associates have to be in the White House, or they have to be in Trump Tower in New York. Uh, um, there and there's Russian associates that it's mainly because they're mafia. They're into drug transferring. Because look, the majority of the drugs is not coming out of Mexico. Sure, you closer to the border places, California, Texas, and Arizona, Florida. Yeah, sure. But these northern places where they have these heroines and opium ODs and addiction problem and all this other drug use, it's coming out of the north. It's coming from Afghanistan and Turkey, and they just go right through Russia and then right down to Alaska, you know, through Canada, and boom. You know what I'm saying? And the Caucasian people are going to be overlooked. They're Christians, you know what I'm saying? There's no Muslim bans on them, and people have been overlooking them anyway. And and the Russians and the spies are very smart. They know how to use propaganda, and you could see they've used the white supremacists and the white racist groups to undermine the security and the stability of the United States. So you could see how the Republicans was acting with Obama. They were coming off as very racist. They don't have any solutions for any problems except for a negative hate, and that it's self-destructive not only to the fabric of the Constitution, uh, but and civil rights, but for the security and the safety of the American people. And I hope these hearings that we could we could have this thing that's been festering in the Republican Party and in our government, that this fester of racist hate that's being manipulated by outside forces uh, to destroy America from the inside. And I think that they need to be tried for treason. Pence, Trump, Steve Banner, Flint, all of them. You know what I'm saying? If they're associating with Russia, making deals with Russia, and we could all see that the ideas with his spending bill or how he wants to do is nothing but harmful. Even his insurance idea is nothing but harmful. If anything, we cannot have the insurance people dictating the price that they're going to charge American people. You know what I'm saying? Because the way they have been dictating it so far is that they increase it, so citizens are being punished and punished, so that people like Trump can do white collar crimes and think that it's okay. I think that we need to start prosecuting these people to the fullest, and so we can have a safe, secure America.